My name is Joshua Carroll. I am the pastry chef out of Southgate Center, Dining Services Commissary Unit. Today we're going to do a quick demo of some easy cookie decorations. The box of stuff that we've prepared for each person to pick up at Squires, I believe next Friday, includes 3 different colors of icing. We've got a vanilla buttercream, good old Hokie colors, orange, some maroon, and then you'll get a little container of what we call Hokie sprinkles, and then a package with 3 large cream cheese sugar cookies. They're the same ones you can get at D2 Dining Hall, just a larger version. And then you'll get 3 small pastry bags, and then there'll also be a bag with a spoon for you to use to get the product out. But first thing I wanted to just quick show you the easiest way to fill a pastry bag. I'm using just a disposable or compostable cup. The easiest way to do it without making a mess is to just fold your sides down and put it in a cup. At home you can use a coffee cup or a regular glass, and then just take a spoon or a spatula and you just scoop it out and put it in your bag, as easy as that. And then just fold your bag back down. Some people use rubber bands to do the top. I always just fold it down like a present or an envelope, and I use just masking tape. And just seal them like that. That way you can, there's not a lot of icing that you're gonna make a mess, but what a lot of people do that haven't decorated before is to squeeze it out the top of the bag. So you can set up all your bags like that. I already made myself some larger, this is what we actually use in the bake shop, larger version. And you'll just need a pair of scissors. And then, since we're not providing any tips, all you're gonna do is cut the end off, just maybe, I don't know, 1/2 inch, depends on how large a hole you want. And that's pretty much how you would set it up. And the first thing I wanted to show you how to make was just a simple cookie sandwich, because who can't resist a cookie sandwich? So for that, I'm gonna use this bag, but I'm gonna cut it a little bit larger. At home, you might wanna just take the icing right out of the container and smear it onto your cookie. But all you're gonna do for that, and put as much icing as you want, and then you're just gonna sandwich them together and try to get it to squeeze out the side something. And if you want to, you can mix some of your sprinkles in with your icing. I've just set it up where if you have a small container, just spread out some of your sprinkles and then just dip it in. And you might want to do this on a, either on a plate or a towel or something, so that you don't end up with sprinkles all over the place. And then just for something quick and easy, these ones I've already cut a hole in. I'm just going to draw a VT on it. Just something as simple as that. And you've got just a fun VT cookie sandwich. Other things you can do, I've brought just a couple stencils that we use a lot in the bake shop. We usually use an airbrush, but you can do something as simple, and these have just been cut out with an X-Acto knife. And you can do something as simple as just put some of your icing on top, and you can use your finger, you can use the back of a spoon. I'm just using an offset, and you can, if you manage to not move the stencil too much, which I seem to be doing, you can just smear it on and then pop it off, and you've got a VT. And then if you want to clean it up a little bit, you can again just trace it. There. And then you just got a simple VT cookie. You can do something as simple as, you know, just press dots around it to fill it in a little bit. And you can go back and forth and change the color. And you could just continue that all the way around. If you wanted to do something a little bit different, you could finish it off. I guess I should turn it that way. And you can just do something like that to finish it off a little bit quicker. And if you want to use sprinkles on anything, you have to remember that this, as soon as air hits this, it starts to dry. So if you want to use sprinkles, you got to do it fairly soon after putting it on the cookie. So there's another quick, easy tech cookie. All right, and then Valentine's Day stuff. If you wanted to do something special for Valentine's, I just have simple cookie cutters, different sizes. There's two ways you can do it. You can, on this one, I just am gonna take it and press it into the cookie to make an indentation, and then I'll just trace that. If you got a cookie that's a little bit harder, you can always put a little bit of icing on here and just press it on so that you have the impression. And then all we're gonna do, turn this way. And then you just have a simple Hokie Valentine cookie. And then you can do, you know, fill it in with something, you know, just with a, you know, something like that. Put a few sprinkles on it to fill it in. And then just something when you're piping with a bag like this. And again, you'll see why I put tape on the top of it, because I can do just about anything and it's not going to squeeze out the top of the bag. But when you pipe, you're generally always going to use the center part of your hand to squeeze. You don't want to use your fingers, because then you don't have control over what you're doing. And then also your bag is never in the cookie that you're decorating on. It's always just over the top of it. And here I'm just going to make like a little spiral around the outside. And that's kind of just a simple something to do for Valentine's Day. Another just easy techie thing would be to make the little Hokie feet. So again, if you want to just do your VT, and then let's say we want to make the feet out of orange, and I'm going to actually cut and then all you would do for that is, see if I can do it backwards, would just be to make a straight line and then put your feet, and you have somewhat of a Hokie feet. And again, you're just making a straight line down. And when you write like that, it's easiest you just kind of let the icing fall. You don't want to press into what you're doing, or else you just end up with something like that. But if the icing always just falls from your bag. All right, and then we can put some little, I don't know, just all about filling in the space with something. And then again, if you wanted to, you know, put some sprinkles on it. And then too, if you have, you know, the icing that piles up like that, once it's dried, you can go back down. You can go back and push it down with your finger to clean it up just a little bit. And then just a couple other ideas for Valentine's Day. If you want just basic hearts, a basic heart is just pushing icing that way, and then you essentially have little hearts. And you can just do those all over your cookie. Just always try to stick with odd numbers, 3 and 5. It'll look a little bit better. And then you can make them as big or as small as you want. So there's, and then if you want to fill it in with just some other dots. But again, I'm just squeezing. It looks like I'm squeezing with my fingers, but most of the pressure is coming from the inside here and this part of my hand. And it's just something you learn, the more you decorate, you learn how to control the bag a little bit better. But there's just a simple Valentine easy hearts. And then just a couple other Valentine ones would be, you can do something as easy as your heart again, just press it in, and you can see how it just leaves a slight indentation, so you know where to draw. And so let's say this one, we're just gonna trace it just like we did before. But this time we're gonna make the whole thing orange, so you can just go right back over where you were and just keep filling it. And then if you want to, clean it up again, once it dries a little bit, you can press it down with your finger. But we'll just fill it in like that and then outline it. And you can do just a straight outline, or if you want to, you can just do single dots. And you do something as simple as that, and then if you want to make it a little bit nicer, you can, just add some sprinkles to the center of it. Just do something as simple as that. And then the last thing I'll show you is just, again, I'm just gonna we'll do actually 2 hearts on this one. I got a medium one and a small one. And then, we'll just trace them. And if you have other tips at home, you can obviously do a little bit more with just a straight tip like this. You've only so many options. But just something as simple as that. Add a couple small hearts. And then if you want to do something, then you could just right over the top of it if you wanted to. Just do something like that. Or you could do the same thing with just that same. And again, you just work right above your surface and just let the icing fall down on what you're doing. There's your love for the Hokies. Anything, like I said, anything can be embellished with more sprinkles. Something different you can do too is you can, if you don't want to just have the small tip, you can also cut these and make a V out of, so you cut it to the center. My scissors are a little dull, but, or you can even use an X-Acto knife if you have one, and then it should give you, yeah, so you can make like a slightly different design using just a plain bag. So then that's a couple different ways. And so when you do that, just to show a couple examples, you can do, so now if you're like doing a cake or a larger cookie, you know, you can make a design like that. You can make a design like this for a border. You know, you can make leaves, or I mean, you can, you know, write with it if you want to, just to give a little bit different designs, different textures. And then, like I said, the biggest thing with your sprinkles is you do always want to put them on while the icing is still wet, or they're just going to end up all over the floor. And then something else you could do is you can smear, if you want to do something is just smear icing all over the top of it, and you can just dip it in your sprinkles. That's another simple thing to do. But all right, thanks for joining me today to learn how to decorate cookies. Again, my name is Joshua Carroll, pastry chef at Southgate Center, part of Dining Services, and have a good time decorating cookies.